Gretchen, and I am a survivor advocate with Breaking Traffic, a part of Family Resources. Today we're starting off our first episode of our series with what is human trafficking, and this is just a basic human trafficking 101 to give education to the community and to help survivors identify, because a lot of times survivors of human trafficking don't realize that they are a survivor. So it'll be really good if we can get this out there more. So like, subscribe, share to your friends about this information. And this is Pauline. She'll go into a little bit more about what we do.
Hey guys! Okay, I am also a survivor advocate with Breaking Traffic, a program of Family Resources. And in case you're wondering what exactly Family Resources is, what exactly Breaking Traffic is, we are an agency to help support survivors of different violent acts. So we have domestic violence services, we have sexual assault services, survivors of homicide and other violent crimes, engaging males, and that's all housed within the survivor services. And really what it is just to help educate and also for people to receive services to help restore them and work them towards the healing process whenever something has happened to them. And with human trafficking, we're the anti-human trafficking portion of the agency, and it's really important that we are able to get our word out and really kind of talk and educate people, because within the movement, it's been going on since about the late 90s, early 2000s. Prior to the 2000s, this was not anything that was talked about, and since then we've made a lot of room within our movement. However, a lot of times there's a lot of misunderstandings, so we want to be able to clear up those misunderstandings.
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of misunderstandings about what human trafficking is, and before I went to my training, I didn't really know a whole lot about human trafficking, so I'm excited to share everything that I've learned working here in the past 2 years, and hopefully it can help other people understand more too. So sex trafficking, to go over the federal definition, I'm just going to be reading off the federal definitions here. Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purposes of a commercial sex act in which the commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such an act has not attained 18 years of age. And then the definition for labor trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. So that is very wordy, so we're going to break it down for you guys, and to first go over the action, means, and purpose. The first thing is the action. So what is actually happening here?
So what is going on in the situation of trafficking is somebody is essentially obtaining another person to provide some form of work or labor for them, and they're not getting anything in return. They're oftentimes not getting paid. They're kind of stuck into what is oftentimes considered modern day slavery. So it's really obtaining that person in order to use them to provide something for their gain, but not the survivor or victim's gain.
Right, yes. And then the means, how it's done, that includes the force, fraud, and coercion. Unless it's with sex trafficking and it's with a minor, there doesn't need to be any force, fraud, or coercion, but it's pretty obvious that there would be in a lot of cases, but that doesn't need to be proven in court for someone to be charged with human trafficking if they are enticing a minor to perform sex acts so that they can get money. So with force, Pauline, do you want to go a little bit more into what force would look like?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, in that definition it is very, very wordy, and it just throws out the word force, but what does that mean? So force is essentially any time that there is that physical use of force. That might be like a beating, slapping, hitting, kicking, punching. So really like any time that there is that physical contact to make somebody do and comply to what they want done.
Right. And then, would you say like withholding or isolation or confinement might fall into that force too, like withholding food and water, or what are other things that someone can be like forced to do something without actually being like hit?
Yes, absolutely. A very common theme among both types of trafficking is that isolation, to where they are not able to go out and seek help from others. And so what that might be is that either they're stuck in a house all day, or when they do go out, there's somebody that's constantly watching over them and really tracking their movements and the conversations that they're having with other people. So it might look like if somebody is going to the doctor's office, somebody may be sitting in there with them and ensuring that they don't talk. And so that's isolating them from getting that help, or they may remove them from their friends and their family so that way nobody knows exactly what's going on. So yes, that is definitely another use of that force.
And then there's a lot of power and control going on, that the trafficker has all the power and has probably said a lot of things that makes the person who is being trafficked believe that no one else would believe them if they told them what was going on, that what is going on is their fault possibly. Another way of means is fraud. So going over fraud, it could be a false employment offer for like labor trafficking. If someone's coming to the United States believing that they have a job in a certain field, and then they get here and it's something completely different, that would be an example of fraud. Or then with the example for sex trafficking, it could be like a boyfriend, and what kind of fraud would that look like?
So oftentimes with traffickers, they target people based on their vulnerabilities. And we will definitely in time be going over like what those vulnerabilities look like. But essentially what they do is they come in and they promise them this relationship. We as humans, we crave connections and being in tune with other people. And so there's sometimes this person that almost comes in and seeming like a prince or Prince Charming, and this promise of this beautiful, wonderful relationship. And so when somebody gets involved in this, they think that this other person can be trusted, it's an intimate partner, and as time goes on, sometimes it can be quickly, sometimes it can take a while to build that, but they will ultimately ask them to provide commercial sex acts under the guise that it's not going to last for long, they really need the money, this is the only way that they can do it, and oftentimes the person that is being victimized complies because they feel that they're doing it for a loved one and that it's a worthwhile purpose, and that it's not going to happen, it's not going to last for a long time.
Right. Or if they have gone into it thinking it would be something completely different, and then it just keeps spiraling of like being asked to do more and more, and that their comfort level, their barriers are being crossed more and more, and then that abuse just keeps happening, and that's how that person gets to a point where they are in that situation. So it's just different levels, and we can go into coercion a little bit too. Could be like threatening their life, threatening their family's life, just being emotionally abusive to a person to coerce them that this is all that they're worth, this is all they're good for. If they've had like previous sexual abuse in their life, a trafficker can use that against them and say that might be like what their worth is. And it could also be that the trafficker would tell them a lot of different things that this is like their only option, and that's kind of coercion. And then having debt bondage, like with finances and things like that. Do you want to go more into that?
Yeah, so oftentimes we see a lot of that debt bondage with labor trafficking. So oftentimes they can, be frauded as they come over here, and they then are charged for absolutely everything that they're doing. So they're brought in, they may be promised one thing, then they're ending up doing something else, but they are charged for their place to stay, for any food that they eat, anytime that their laundry is done, they're charged for it. So at the end of the week, what may supposed to be like a $600 paycheck might actually be $60 that ends up in their pocket. And it's really hard to get out of that situation without having the money or the means to be able to get out of there, because once again, I'm going back to that isolation piece, even if they know that something is wrong, it doesn't really hurt for them to get out because who do you tell? And then when you don't have that monetary ability to get up and out on your own, you're feeling kind of stuck. And then oftentimes too, in cases of labor trafficking, as soon as they come in, all of their documentation is taken from them. They are told that if they do not comply, that they could be arrested, they may be deported, and oftentimes that brings a lot of fear in them because they thought that they were accepting that job to be able to have a better life, to be able to have more money, to be able to take care of those that they love.
Right, and fearing that no one would understand or that they wouldn't be believed or being told that they wouldn't be believed by the trafficker. And but that's where we step in. We always start by believing survivors. We are here for survivors. We support them with whatever they need, whether that be housing, food, emotional support, and free counseling. We really want to empower survivors in making their life better and have helped a lot of people in our community. It is going on around here. We serve 6 counties in Iowa. And do you want to expand a little bit on what else we offer with our services, how they can contact us if there is a survivor watching, how could he or she get a hold of us, and how can someone, if they see something, get a hold of us to get someone help?
Absolutely, that is a really great question. And so one of the things that we're going to do in the links below is we are going to drop our crisis line number. That is, we are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week via our crisis line. If there is somebody who is needing help or support, all they have to do is give us a call, and then the information will come to us and we will contact them. If there is others that are just wanting information or wondering how they can help others, they are also welcome to give us a call. So we try to make it really easy, and with meeting with our survivors, we try to meet them where they're at. And so what that might look like is they may set up an appointment to come into our office to meet with us. We may need to go out and meet them somewhere in the community or in their homes, wherever they feel most comfortable, so that way we can break down those barriers to them receiving services.
Yeah, it's great that we do have the ability to see people wherever they are, and travel if someone is needing help like that. People can also contact the Human Trafficking Hotline, which if there is something reported, if they are in our area, we would be the ones responding to that. But we will link that number as well, and please share this video, like, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.